Hello all and welcome to my channel devopsmela. This is Rohit Singh. Let's quickly discuss the agenda for this video tutorial. So what exactly we're going to do, we firstly will create a ASP.NET Core web application. Then we'll create a ARM template from scratch in order to deploy this ASP.NET Core application on Azure Web App on Azure portal. So for doing this, we'll be having a build pipeline. The entire thing would be done through Azure DevOps CI/CD pipelines. So we'll be creating a build pipeline using YAML script. Okay, again, this is something we'll be creating from scratch. Then we'll be creating a release pipeline in order to create the infrastructure using this ARM template and later deploy the ASP.NET application. Okay, so before we proceed, if you guys are new to this channel, please subscribe to my channel. In future I'll be coming up with such type of videos a lot. Okay, and please like, dislike and give your feedback in the comment box, and do let me know if you're liking or disliking this video. Okay, and if you guys have any suggestions for me, please put it in the comment box and I will definitely try my best to work on those suggestions. Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and run the first step of creating a Azure.NET Core web application. Okay, before that, I want to create a blank repository because this entire thing would be done on Azure GIT. So let me create a blank repository. Let me clone this repository so that we can work on it. Guys, if you're new to this Git or if you're not familiar with Azure Git, please do check my videos. I have a video on Git, how to work on Git and how to work on Azure Git both. Please do go and check. Okay, I have the repository created, a blank repository created right over here. Let's minimize it. Let's open Visual Studio. So I'm using Visual Studio 2019 in order to create the web application. So I'll be using the default templates, what we get with this Visual Studio. I'll be using the same default templates for my purpose. So I'll be just look for a ASP.NET Web Core. I don't want the API, this one, C#. So let's go ahead and click next. Let's name your project name as Web App Core. Make sure this is in the repository folder itself. Okay, this is at the right location. I'm using .NET Core 3.1 version LTS. Let's keep all the options default. Nothing needs to be changed. Let's go ahead and create this project. So we have successfully created a .NET Core web application. Let's wait till the time this project gets loaded. While this is running in the backend, let's go and understand what exactly is ARM. Okay, because the next step is we would be creating a ARM template. So what exactly those are, let's understand that. So what exactly is ARM? So ARM stands for Azure Resource Manager. Okay, so ARM is the deployment and management service for Azure Cloud. If you want to deploy and manage any resources or services on Azure Cloud, so using ARM we can easily do that. Okay, so nowadays in the DevOps environment, people follow Agile and Scrum methods, wherein as soon as they do the development, they want to deploy that thing and they want to test that thing. Now they don't have time to wait for a infrastructure team wherein they are spinning up the infra, then they are giving the infra to the DevOps team, giving the infra to the developer, then they are deploying the change. So it's a waste of time. They are working on iteration and sprints now. So as soon as they develop, at the same time they want to deploy things. So infrastructure as a code is a method wherein with their code base, like whatever they have deployed, they have a additional file which will set up the infra for them. So if you're working on Azure portal and if you're making use of Azure resources, ARM is the right tool to use if you want to follow infrastructure as a code methodology. Okay, so what exactly it does, it provides a management layer that enables you to create, update and delete resources on your Azure account. So what exactly it uses to implement infrastructure as a code, it uses a Azure resources management templates. Okay, what exactly these templates are, these templates are a JSON file, it's a JavaScript object notation file that defines the infrastructure and configure your project. It will help you to define in this JSON file. You can define your infrastructure the way you want to the way you want to spin the resources with all the properties and everything. Okay, that is what we're gonna see now. Okay, there are few advantages of ARM template. I have just mentioned the four. There are multiple advantages, but these are the four important advantages which you can refer. So firstly, the ARM template follows declarative syntax. So it allows you to create and deploy an entire Azure infrastructure declaratively. Okay, in sequentially you can whatever is your need you can define in the template, and that will get implemented and deployed in a sequential manner. It will help you to repeatable results, so you can use the same deployment throughout the life cycle. So you're saving your work. One ARM template can be deployed on multiple environments. Okay, orchestration. So resource manager orchestrate the deployment of independent resources, so they are created in the correct order. So all whatever resources are mentioned in your ARM template, so it is orchestrated and in correct order it gets deployed. The main important part, the CI/CD integration. So you can integrate your templates for continuous integration and continuous deployment. This is the part what we're gonna see right now. Okay, so this is a small short description about ARM and ARM templates. Now let's go ahead and see if our web application is up. Okay, so web application is up right now. Now let's make few changes to the index file. Let's run welcome to, so that we can identify this is our change. Welcome to ARM web page. Okay, let's save it for now. Okay. Okay guys, before we go and create this ARM template from scratch, let's see there are multiple quick ways of creating ARM templates. One of the ways are if you're logged in on Azure portal, and if you have any of your resources running, like if you have any dummy resources, like for example, I'm just creating a web app. Just give a web app name, devopsmela, stack 3.1, Windows is fine, region is fine. Let's go in deployment. Let's keep all the information as it is. Okay, now I'll not go and create this web app over here, but now if you see over here, I'm getting an option to download a template. So this is nothing but it's a ARM template which got created. Okay, if you want we can just download it and we can include it in the project. This is a one way. There are other ways, like if you want to use some custom templates, you have those options as well. Okay, so if you see deploy a custom template, if you click on it, there are common templates which gets used frequently is already there. You just have to click and start using it. And if you want to build your own template from scratch, you get an editor on Azure portals as well. Azure portal as well. You can start using this from here. Okay. Now, if you don't want, and if you don't have any dummy resource, and if you don't want to use this building your own template editor, or you don't want to use this common template, that's totally fine. There are n number of templates already available on GitHub. I'll show you how to access that quick. ARM templates. You just go and search. If you search on GitHub, if you see these are the n number of templates, there are people continuously working and updating this GitHub repository. So whichever you like if it suits your requirement, you can go ahead and you can use the JSON file from here. Okay, this is again an example. We are not using in this tutorial. I'm not using this quick help or not even the Azure portal. We'll create the ARM template from scratch for this tutorial. Okay, but do look if you get anything out of the box, that is good. Okay, so we'll go and create a ARM template. I'll open the project. I'll click on add new project and I'll look for Azure resource group. Okay, this is the option. So guys, if you're not able to see this option in your Visual Studio, just go and check whether you have Azure development kit installed or not, if a package installed or not. If not installed, please go ahead and install that. Okay, I'll name it as ARM Web Core. Is in the same repository directory. The framework I'm using 4.7.2. Let's go and create. Again over here, if you see in the drop down, you have some quick start. It's again referring to the GitHub repository, so you can use the templates directly, and you have some common templates available over here. You can use that too. For this tutorial, I'll be using a blank template, so let's start with a blank template. Okay, so if let me minimize this and let me close this index page. If you see, I have a ARM web core. I have three files. I have Azure deploy.json file and I have a Azure deploy.parameter.json. The third one is a PowerShell script which will help you to deploy both the above files. But for this tutorial, we are not using PowerShell, so we would be using CI/CD. Okay, let's open this Azure deploy.json. Okay, so we have the resources, output, variables, parameter. So what exactly we want to do? We want to launch Azure Web App. Okay, so I'll just click on this toolbar, JSON outline. I'll just pin this. I'll just unpin this for more space. On the resource, I'll just click a right click and I'll do a add new resources. Let's wait for a while. Okay, so what are we looking for? We are looking for Web App. Here we go. Give a name. I'll name it as Web App Core. Okay, anything you can give. So before we go ahead and create a web app, we need to create a service plan as well. So I'll go and click on create a service plan. I'll give the same name to the service plan. I'll add the service plan. Now I'll add the web app. Okay, now in my .json file, if you see, the resource is added. Okay, these are the parameters which is added. We are using the default value f1 for the SKU name. We have the metadata information. We have the variable name. Okay, so this variable name is not needed for me. Why exactly this is? When you're launching a web app, your URL should be unique. So that's why it will concat your web app name with some unique string. So we don't want, because I need some specific domain name. So that's why I'm just removing this variable for now. I'm not using this variable. I just removed it. Now if you see at the bottom, I'm getting 4 errors because I've removed the variable name. We'll be using, on behalf of this variable name, we'll be using a parameter values. Okay, so I'll just replace it with parameters over here too. Looks good, no issues found. Now my resource is looking good, my web app core resource is looking good. Now I need to edit the parameter page because we need to define the parameter. Okay, over here, let's go and define, there are two parameters, web app core name, and we have to define the SKU name. Let's copy this, come back to your parameter page, here double quotes, colon. I'll just give this name, I'll give a name, I'll name it as web app core. Okay, that's it. I'll just add the second parameter too. I'll name it as SKU name. Okay guys, so this is looking good, but these are some generic values what we have defined. The SKU name, if I change it to F1, this will work, but this will, if you have a multi-stage environment, this will not work because we need custom variables over there. These are generic variables, values what we are defining. Okay, so in order to have a custom value, a custom variable wherein we can modify those values while deploying things, so we would need some token. Okay, replace token options, what we would be, what we would require. I'll just talk about that a bit. So in order to do that, let's add some prefix and suffix. There's an asterisk, so in between whatever you see, that can be replaced using a replace token. So that's why I'm adding the values between the asterisk sign. Okay, let's save this. Let's click on build. Let's build this JSON. If everything's work good, then we can proceed by pushing the changes. Okay, why exactly we did this and what are the benefits, we'll talk about when we're creating a release pipeline. Okay, let's open my Git repository. Let's go in my local Git repository, cd web app core. Let's look for git status. We have two files to add. Let's add. Let's do a commit. Initial commit. Done. Let's push the change to a repository now. Okay, so change has been pushed to web app core. Coming back, let's refresh this. Okay, we have the required information. We have our ARM template and we have the web application over here. Now let's create a build pipeline in order to build this application. I'm going to click on new pipeline. I'll select my repository. I'll select my project repository name. It's a ASP.NET Core. I'll select this. Okay, so we have the initial default YAML file already added over here. Okay, so I'll just take out this. We don't have a test, as if now we don't have a test in this project, so I'll just take out, this is not required. So let me walk you through the YAML file. So we have a trigger in my main branch. We don't have any other branch created. This is the pool what we are using. This we have a solution file which we would be using to build. These are some NuGet installer, and if you see the build step in which we are building the package and we are storing the package at this artifact staging directory location. Let me copy this because we would need this. Okay, let's create some task, like we would need a copy task in order to copy the ARM templates. Okay, so we need a copy files. The source, the target would be because everything, the build is getting created at the staging artifact directory, so that should be a target. The source would be, coming back to solution, this should be a source. This particular ARM web code would be a source. I'll just add that. Contain, what all things we want to copy. So we just need this .json files. We don't need this .ps1. Okay. So what exactly? These are Azure deploy.json. So we'll just write Azure deploy. I give a star and .json. So both the files will get copied. Once you're done with this changes, make sure your cursor is at the right place and just click on add. Okay, so we have this task added. Now all my files are there in my staging directory. Let's publish those files to a specific directory now so that we can access. So let's publish build. There's one more task, publish build artifact. Just click on it. The artifact name would be drop. If you want to change the name, you can do it, but not needed. Again, click on, make sure the cursor is at the right place. Click on add. Okay, done. A YAML file is created. So again, we are following a pipeline as a code method. From next time onwards, the developer can make whatever changes he wishes to make. He can directly make those changes to the YAML, and the changes will get implemented. I'll just do a save. So this will directly commit those changes to my main branch itself. Okay, let me quickly show you the YAML. Now the YAML would be created. See, a YAML is created, the one which we just created. Okay, in my main branch. Now I'll go and if you want to change this name, you can do it. Let's keep it as it is. Let's run it. So we are running the pipeline. Let me refresh this. Running the pipeline, the job will trigger. It will take around 2 or 3 minutes. Let's wait till that time and I'll come back once the build is successful. Okay guys, so our pipeline was successful. So let's go and click on the artifact and let's see what all things we have. Okay, we have a good amount of information over here in the artifact. The three important file what we are looking for, a webapp.zip. This is our web application which we will deploy, and we have our ARM templates. So we have this Azure deploy.json file and we have the parameter file. Okay, let's go back. So this was successful. Now we'll go ahead and we'll create our release pipeline. Okay, so let's create a new release pipeline. I'll just select Azure App Service Deployment. Let's name it as dev. Let's unidentify error. Let me refresh everything and come back. I don't know why this Azure DevOps board is behaving weird today. Okay, let's click again, new release pipeline. Let's select Azure App Service Deployment. Let's select dev. Okay, let me select my artifact first. I'll select my artifact, that was web app core. I'll add it. I'll select my subscription. I'll select DevOps practice. I have multiple subscription, and how exactly this subscription was created, how exactly we create a service connection. I will come up with a details video how to automatically create a subscription, how to manually create a subscription. So please watch out this channel for more details. Okay, DevOps practice app service name. So we have already defined some app service name. Let's change it now. We want our own custom variables. So there are two variables what we have defined over here, the two parameter values. So I want to change it now. So that is what I'm going to do. Now I'll change it to web app core underscore develop 123. Make sure you, because this would be your app service name, so make sure this is unique. Okay, and there's one more parameter which I want to change is the SKU name. I'll change it to F1. F1 is the basic and which is part of a free tier, that's why I'm using F1. You can use whichever you want from the allowed values. Okay, make sure you check the pricing before you go and use it. Okay, now in the app service name I'll be using this same variable what we have defined. In order to use the variable, this is the way: dollar sign, open and close bracket, inside it you give the variable name. Done. Now I need ARM template task, so I'll just go and search for ARM template, click add. I'll just move this above. Okay, now okay, one important thing, we have updated the app service name over here, and if you see at the deploy Azure app service, this got automatically linked, and the package folder which we are using is .zip. So I showed you that we have a web.zip created in my artifact, so that the same file we are calling over here. Okay, just an FYI. In ARM I'll just click and select the same devopsmela practice, and I'll use the same pay as you go subscription. Resource group, I'll be calling the same uh, with the same name. I'll be creating a resource group, and if you want a separate one you can again create a new one, or you can define the variable. It's totally up to you. Location, let's keep it East US, and if you want to change, even this location can be defined in ARM templates. In future if you want to define, even that is possible. I'll give the template linked artifact. I'll just give the template path. So the template part is Azure deploy.json, and I'll give the parameter path. Okay, .json. So my ARM template is done. My deploy Azure app service is done. Now, guys, if you remember, we have used this token. Okay, so and we have defined a different variable now. So if you want to replace this value, we have to use a replace token task now. Replace token task. I'm able to see this inside my list. If you're not able to see it, you have to go ahead and deploy it. Okay, install it on your Azure DevOps. I'll just click add. I'll take this at the top. Root directory, I'll select drop location as my root directory. Config, what are we replacing? We're replacing this .json. I'll just copy this. I'll put it over here. Now at the top bottom, if you click on advanced, you see this token prefix and token suffix. So we have just used the asterisk sign. So I'll go and remove this curly braces. This is not needed for us. I'll just rename this web core app release. Okay, so my pipeline is ready now. I'll click OK. Now everything is ready. I have all the required tasks. I'll go and click on create release. On my dev, this is the only environment what I have right now. This is the version. I'll go and click, and I'll click on release 1. So my task is running right now. Again, it will, because this is the first time we are doing it, so it will take around 2 to 3 minutes. So let's hold on till that, and I'll come back once the deployment is successful. And before that, if you go and see my portal, I have no resources inside it. It's totally empty. Okay, let's come back. Okay guys, so this pipeline was successful and all my 3 tasks were successful. Now if I just go and check the replace token, so it has replaced 2 tokens out of 2. That was good. And if we check the ARM template, successfully deployed, so it has deployed the ARM resources successfully, and even the deployment was successful. And if you see at the bottom, this is the name what we gave, and our web page should be up. Let's go and check. If it is up, then we'll go and check the resources on the Azure portal. Welcome to ARM web page. This is up. This is looking good. Going to the portal. Let's refresh this all resources. So yes, we have the service plan and we have the web application up and running. Okay, so we have the URL, the same URL what we just saw, and this is the F1 SKU, the one which we just pinned. Okay, so this was one. So this is something we deployed in development environment. Suppose there's a requirement that the same deployment should happen in multiple environments. Okay, now let's go back and let's edit this pipeline again, and let's clone this task. Okay, over here it's doing selecting after stage is an option, a trigger option. Once the dev is successful, this will get deployed. Okay, but we'll keep it manual for now, and I'll rename it to stage environment. So now we are following multiple environments methodology over here. Okay, everything remains same. We are not making any changes over here. This will remain exactly same. The only thing would be the scoping of variables now. Okay, so this is an important topic. As if now, if you see this was scoped to release because we had only one environment, so I have not focused on this. Now I'll just change it to dev. I'll keep both to dev. Now I'll create few more. I'll just copy this again. I'll put it over here. I'll copy this name also. This time I'll change the develop to stage. This was a benefit. This was a benefit which I was talking about. If you have the token replacement thing right over here. Okay. That's why we were using token replacement. I'll keep it F1. I'll make sure that the scope is only for stage environment. So when the stage pipeline will run, then only this particular variable should get called. I'll save it, go back to pipelines, create release. I'll make it dev as manual trigger. I don't want dev to run again. We have already seen the deployment in dev environment over here. And again, if even though if you're running a dev environment deployment, we'll have an incremental change setup done. Okay, if I see over here, come down, deployment mode, we have incremental. So if there's an incremental change in your template, only that will get deployed. If you're using complete, everything will get destroyed, existing, and whatever changes you have, whatever resources you have in your next version of ARM template, that will get deployed. And this is only for validation purpose. If you want to have more information, just go ahead and check this article. Okay, let me discard it, go back to pipeline, let me deploy it. So what are we expecting? We are expecting a stage URL, a different application web server now. Let's go and deploy it. Let's come back again when the things gets deployed. So guys, even the stage environment was successful. If I go and check my deploy Azure service now, I have my stage URL right over here. Let's go and check it. Let's click on enter and see. Okay, so welcome to my ARM page. So we have two URLs. Let's go and check the resources. Let's refresh this. I have stage service plan and I have develop service plan. That's it from this video tutorial, guys. And if you like it, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Have a great day and be safe. Take care of your family.